The Vancouver Canucks have backed themselves into a corner, and there's only one way out. It's a gamble that's so insane it could either build a dynasty that finally brings the Stanley Cup to Vancouver, or it could cripple the franchise for yet another 10 years. Years of questionable trades and mismanaging assets have left them with a depleted prospect pool and a bleak future. But what if there was one last desperate and absolutely nuclear path to build a juggernaut? Hmm? This isn't about firing another head coach or making a sideways trade. This is a high wire act involving a shocking, almost unthinkable gamble for a player like Connor Bedard or Leo Carlson. It is their only real chance to get a true franchise altering number one center and escape the purgatory of mediocrity. The cost is so staggering that it's a move that's never been successfully weaponized in the modern history of the NHL. Will the Canucks be able to do that? To get the sheer desperation, you have to understand the hole that the Canucks have dug themselves in. This is the result of a long, painful cycle of sacrificing the future for a present that never quite showed up. For years, the philosophy was just make the playoffs, 2 games of playoff revenue, which led to consistently trading away draft picks for immediate help. The problem is that help rarely moved the needle, and the cost has been a slow drain of talent. Draft picks and prospects have been treated as disposable, leaving the farm system perpetually thin. Now, but one trade in particular has slammed shut nearly every conventional door to rebuilding. When the Canucks traded away Ilya Mikheyev and their own 2027 second-round pick in a 2024 salary dump, it seemed like a minor detail. In reality, because of the NHL's CBA, that specific pick is a key that unlocks multiple tiers of restricted free agent offer sheets without their own 2027 second rounder. Those doors are now welded shut. This means the Canucks can't make a competitive offer for most RFAs. The CBA has strict rules about the draft picks you must own to make an offer, and the Canucks are disqualified from most compensation tiers. They're trapped, not good enough to contend, but not bad enough to get a top 3 draft pick this year. It's a self-inflicted wound, leaving them with a choice: a slow, uncertain rebuild or a single high-stakes roll of the dice. Because that trade sent their 2027 second-round pick out the door, the Canucks are left with a shocking and unconventional path. They're locked out of all the reasonable middle ground offer sheet tiers. This leaves them with only one viable high-end option: the nuclear option, the highest possible tier of offer sheet compensation in the entire CBA. The cost? 4 first-round picks. Think about that for a second. To even try to sign a top-tier restricted free agent, Vancouver must be willing to slide an offer sheet across the table, knowing that if it isn't matched, they will lose their first 4 round picks of the next 4 out of 5 seasons. This is a move so terrifyingly risky, it's almost never seriously considered. So why would any team even think about this? Paradoxically, the rules that have cornered them provide the answer. While the Canucks are barred from the middle tiers, the top tier only requires first round picks, which they still own. The only way they can use the offer sheet system is by making the biggest, most aggressive move absolutely possible. The logic is that one bona fide franchise-defining number one center is worth more than 4 lottery tickets. The odds of a mid to late first-round pick becoming a superstar are incredibly low. So the argument goes, why not trade 4 unknown quantities for 1 known game-breaking certainty? This is the core of the whole gamble. That the value of a single elite player is so huge it justifies mortgaging the team's future. So who could possibly be worth this monumental price? We're about to get into the 2 players who could justify it. But if you're finding this breakdown as fascinating as I do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We're breaking down wild moves like this all season, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. All right. A gamble this massive can't be for just any player. You only need to list for someone who can single-handedly change the direction of your franchise. In the summer of 2026, Two names stand out as the only targets who could possibly justify this level of risk. You got Connor Bedard and Leo Carlsson. First, the dream scenario. Connor Bedard, the hometown kid, the generational talent from North Vancouver who has already taken the league by storm. By 2026, he'll be finishing his entry-level contract with Chicago. In his rookie season, he put up an impressive 22 goals and 39 assists in 68 games on a team that was nowhere near contention. The offer would have to be astronomical, with some analysts suggesting a potential market approaching $17 million, so Kirill Kaprizov money, to make Chicago hesitate. From Chicago's side, matching is the priority, but such a contract would seriously handcuff their ability to build a deep team around him, although they've kind of already done that. Then there's the second, more strategic target, Leo Carlsson of the Anaheim Ducks. The number 2 pick from that same 2023 draft, Carlsson has become a legitimate franchise center for the Anaheim Ducks. He's a point-per-game player who represents a potentially more realistic path. The key difference is Anaheim's situation. Unlike Chicago, the Ducks have other high-end young players like Mason McTavish, who will also need huge contracts. An offer around $17 million AAV could put them in a brutal spot. Do they commit that much to Carlsson or take the 4 first-round picks? For Vancouver, the rules allow a team to use first-round picks from the next 5 drafts. They could, in theory, protect their own 2027 pick and offer their first for 28, 29, 2030, and 2031. If they believe getting Carlsson makes them a contender, those picks would likely be in the middle or late part of the round, making them far less valuable unless they're terrible like they were this year. And by that, I mean the Canucks. If the Canucks pull the trigger, the franchise will be set on one of 2 wildly different paths. There is no middle ground here. Let's paint the dream scenario. The offer sheet is signed and the other team doesn't match it. Suddenly, Connor Bedard or Leo Carlsson is a Canuck. The rebuild is launched into hyperspace. You have a 1-2 punch of Bedard, Carlsson, and Elias Pettersson down the middle, a combo that would be the envy of the NHL. With Thatcher Demko in goal, if he can stay healthy, your defense is headlined by the young defensemen the Canucks have now in Z Bouillon, Tom Willander, and D. Petey. You might even have a Gavin McKenna or a Ivar Stenberg on the wing, or others like a Keaton Bierhoff. And then don't forget Braden Coots in the pipeline. That is potentially a Stanley Cup contender built to win for the next 10 years. The pain of giving up 4 first-round picks would vanish as the team could potentially hoist its first ever Stanley Cup. Now for the nightmare. The path to ruin. First, the offer sheet is matched. The Canucks are left empty-handed, seen as desperate and foolish. The second way is far worse. The offer isn't matched and the Canucks get their man, but the massive contract makes it impossible to build a deep roster for the next 5 years. They have no first-round picks to inject cheap young talent, and what if their new superstar gets a career-altering injury? The franchise would be utterly crippled. No prospects, no cap space, no draft picks to dig themselves out of, and probably no fans either. This isn't just a failed rebuild, it's a complete franchise collapse. So, is this insane gamble worth it in a league that preaches patience? This is an act of pure desperation. It's a rejection of the slow build, and yet you can see the logic for a franchise starved for a true contender. The idea of a player like Bedard or Carlsson is a little hypnotic, but at the end of the day, I'll be completely honest, I don't think this risk is worth it. I personally have moved on from the whole notion of bring Bedard home. I just don't think it's going to happen unless they're able to get him, down the line in free agency. But I'm kind of more into Celebrini. I think the smart approach to this rebuild is to replenish in the draft, and obviously giving up 4 first-round picks is not the way to do it, even for a guy like Connor Bedard or Leo Carlsson. You just know both the Blackhawks and the Ducks are going to easily match whatever offer the Canucks put down, unless it's something astronomical, like we mentioned, like $20 million. And do you really think that Francesco Aquilini will be okay with spending that amount of money on one player? I don't think so. The chance to break free from the cycle of mediocrity is so powerful that it makes even the craziest risks seem palatable. But for me, the risk of setting the franchise back yet another 10 years is just too great to bear. So the question is for you. Do you take that 1 in a million shot at a dynasty no matter the cost? Let me know what you would do in the comment section down below. And let me know. Yeah, let me know what you would do in the comments down below. Thanks for watching, guys. On your way out, like the video and subscribe to The Line Change for more daily Canucks content. And I'll catch you guys in the next video.